Good evening, baseball fans. It is Monday, December 9th, and I know it looks a little weird. It is
Bacon
I,
tonic.
Suzy, and your eyes do not deceive you. Kelsey is over there as well.
Bacon tonic.
I know, it's been a long time. It has been a long time, but it's okay. We are here now. Never fear. This is Bourbon and Baseball, all the balls edition. I know you guys have been missing us. I know. You haven't let us know, but telepathically, I think we're
Oh,
right,
I felt it.
right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a
For
cold, dark days of winter, only made colder and
Yes.
darker without us.
For sure. Kels, how you been? I haven't talked to you in, I don't know, I think an actual month, maybe 3 weeks.
Yes, we have not spoken like this
Yeah.
in quite a while, and I am coming out of a congestion coma, suffering
Those are
from
never fun.
just being under the weather the way we all take turns doing this time of year. But
Yep.
fortunately, I'm on the other side of it. I ran into we're always talking about my neighbor Bryce Harper, but I actually ran into
Mhm.
another one of my neighbors, Zac Gallen, a couple days before Thanksgiving. Had a nice little chat with him. We can be the first to report here, actually, breaking news on Bourbon and Baseball that Zac Gallen will not be signing with the St. Louis Cardinals next
No.
season as a free agent. He has fully confirmed that for me. So, yeah, that was interesting. But
I'm
yeah,
a
that was
little upset that you didn't get a selfie. I know you got the
I know.
sneaky trying not to take a picture, but I'm gonna take a
I should
picture with
have
this
done it.
famous
Well, I
person.
had
I
to
know
take
you
a
got one of
picture to,
those.
like, prove to you,
Yeah.
like, yes, he's here, but you're right. I totally should have the main reason I didn't do it is because it was at I'm not even gonna say, like, the p name of the place that I saw him at because there's just so many people, like, listening to us from South
Right,
Jersey that are gonna
right.
flock there looking for him, but it was like it's a very low-key, chill neighborhood spot that you would
Mhm.
never expect to see any kind of but it is just a few miles from where Zac Gallen grew up and maybe apparently still lives. I actually found I wasn't even following my friend Zac Gallen on Instagram, so I got on top of that, and I saw that in his bio it does say he's South Jersey. He's a really big Eagles fan, Philadelphia Eagles fan. So yeah, born and raised, apparently still has ties, and he was there with his new fiance. They just got engaged a few days prior. And yes, I did not ask for a selfie because I did not want to draw any attention to him as if for other people to come over and be like, who is this? Because I
Right.
certainly was the only one. My family was like, what the hell? How did you even and I don't know how because he's not even someone that I like follow super closely or would be if Adam Wainwright walked in anywhere, I'd immediately be like, that's Adam Wainwright. But no, he's not like one of those guys that I have hanging on my wall,
Right,
literally.
right.
But he just we were sitting like inside the entrance where he pretty much had to walk by us to go sit at the bar, which is where he was sitting. So when yeah, he walked in and I was like, out of nowhere, I was just like, I'm like 90% sure that's Zac Gallen. And they all looked at me like, who? I'm like, no, but
You're all the
I don't
milkman?
know. Yeah, I don't
Hello?
know why, but I'm pretty sure it's him. So indeed it was. No selfie, but did have a nice little chat. And yeah, can confirm it seems like he still lives here in South Jersey, or he was at least here for the holidays.
Yeah, yeah. Your other neighbor, Bryce Harper, apparently in the off season lives in Nashville, and I was all, "Oh,
Oh, I did not know
I
that,
gotta
but
I gotta tell Kels, cause stop looking for him at Trader Joe's, Kelsey."
man, I'll have to take that off my list for the holiday season.
Yeah,
Bryce and I are
just
not gonna make Christmas cookies together.
FYI. Before we go on too much further, though, I will give you the rated R warning, of which there will probably be several reasons for the rated R warning, but mostly for all of the cuss words, all of the four-letter words, and there will be a plenty in this episode. If that's not your jam, that's a-okay. Just go listen to a less fun, less informative baseball podcast. And there's no hard feelings here, maybe just a little bit, just a tiny bit. But that's okay. That is all right. And probably some inappropriate adult humor. I've been trying to curb myself and my tendencies to do that. So we'll see how well my self-control will last. We'll see. But I'm warning you ahead of time. Kelsey's
Right.
used to it by now. If you're a
Yeah.
first time listener, you may not be. Just be aware. So with that said, Kelsey, I don't know if you heard or not, but there's been just a couple of signings. Just
Oh,
a few.
I hadn't heard. Was there any big ones so far?
No, I don't
No,
I
no,
don't think
super
so.
super notable ones or
No, the
anything.
hot stove is not super
Oh,
hot. It's not
burning
burning. It's
up.
like lukewarm, maybe.
On. Okay, okay.
Just a low roar. And I just have to give a shout out to Uncle Stevie. Steve Cohen.
Oh, yeah, because he signed Clay
Yeah.
Holmes, right? That's the big one.
Yes. The
Make it move.
Mets are
Make
getting
it happen.
all of the New York Yankees scraps. Frankie Montas, Clay Holmes, And I don't know, just Juan Soto. And I need to give flowers where flowers are due, Uncle Steve, because at no point in time did I say, you know what, Juan Soto is going to go to the Mets for 15 years and $765 million. No point in time. And Steve Cohen said, you know what? My dick is bigger than yours, Hal Sternbrenner. Let's go. That's what he said. He said, you know what? Let's do this. And Juan Soto will have the pinstripes on for the next 15 years. Admittedly, not
Yeah.
the pinstripes that everyone thinks about, but a version of pinstripes.
Yeah, there's so
Version of
many things. There's so many things to break down with this. First of all, largest contract in professional sports history, 15 years, $765 million, no deferred money. There's actually a $75
Yep.
million signing bonus,
Yeah.
which, yeah, that signing bonus is bigger than the A's largest contract of all time. Like, to put that in perspective, there's so many like fun facts like that coming out, which it's just wild on every level. He also has an opt out after the first 5 years. So I'm sure 5 years from now, we'll be seeing him quite potentially exercise that opt out and get even more added on to that $51 million average annual value that he is currently signed up for through his age
Or
41 season.
or the Mets can say, you know what, Juan Soto, we've just had so much fun with you here in Queens. We're just gonna negate that opt out and we're just gonna give you an extra, I don't know, like $5 million a year AAV. Juan Soto, I actually don't love you because you annoy the actual fuck out of me as a player. You're very fun to watch, but you just annoy me. But the fact that Juan Soto has just blown by Shohei Ohtani's contract is mind boggling. Blogging? Mind boggling to me. All of my flabbers are gasted. And quite honestly, if Shohei didn't get the contract that he did, Juan Soto would not be getting this contract.
Correct. Yeah. It definitely set the tone. And it shows that age is such a huge factor in it, right? Because he is what, 4 or 5 years younger than Shohei Ohtani
Mhm.
when Ohtani signed that deal last year. So that, and then obviously it makes sense. It's a huge factor. I guess we're just hoping that Juan Soto is actually 26 years old and not any closer to 30 than we think he is. I haven't heard much whispers about that. I don't think there's a whole lot of speculation, but I just still think it's so interesting because obviously he's a great player. He is a difference maker. He's a player to build around, but I don't know if he no, I don't know that any player is worth that amount of money, and while if Steve Cohen has it and he's gonna spend it, it might as well be going to a player who's gonna bring, so much of the money in, but it's just absolutely wild to think about and to even try to wrap your head around. Did you see that video of Juan Soto celebrating in a what looks like a hot tub
In the
last
hot
night?
tub? Yeah. Yeah. And good on you. Good on you, Juan Soto. Get your motherfucking bag because again, I joked and said that he was gonna get a $700 million contract. Blew by that. Blew by
Yeah,
that.
I did not think it would hit 700,000,000. I definitely thought over 600, maybe even over 650, but I was very genuinely surprised. But that was just clearly what was gonna happen because Steve Cohen was so willing to pay whatever, like no amount was
Mhm.
too much. And that's where you are successful and you can roll if you're a Scott Boras client because what you're signing up for with Scott Boras is for him to take you on a journey that will involve the ultimate chase for the almighty dollar. And as long as you're not attached to anything else and you're going to let him do that for you and for him,
Yep.
then he's gonna do it, and that's exactly what happened, and I just think it's like, again, I'm not saying, "Oh, boo-hoo, go cry me a river, Yankees fans," but there was no way that there is any sentiment or, like, emotional tie to anything, and there never was gonna be with Juan
Yeah.
Soto or any Scott Boras client for that matter, but especially in this case, after 1 year where he got traded to the Yankees. So I'm sorry if you got your hopes up and really thought that there was some kind of tie there and he should have been like Aaron Judge and taken less money. No, he didn't come up through the Yankee system. Like and even if he did, like he turned down $440 million with the Nationals where he apparently loved playing years ago. Like he's made it abundantly clear in the way that he carries himself, in the way that he speaks straight out of Scott Boras's mouth and says anybody can sign me. You're just going to have to pay the most for it. And I think you've called it this whole time, Suzy, that the Mets were going to be the team that did that.
Yep. And I have to say, for all Yankee fans, come on now. I thought we were smarter than this, Yankee fans. You're Yankee fans, so maybe I give you too much credit, but I don't understand how at any point in time you're calling his quote unquote loyalty into question.
Yeah.
What, sir? He played for y'all for one season, one, and it was traded to you guys. He had no say in it. I don't understand where you think this loyalty is coming in from. Why? Because, oh, he loved the Yankee roll call? Give me a fucking
Right.
break, people. Come on now. Okay. Now, I did find it very strange when, after the season ended, Aaron Judge was asked, hey, have you talked to Juan Soto? Have you reached out? And for Aaron Judge to be like, no, I'm giving him his space, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, what? You
Yeah.
you didn't send him a text? Be like, what's up, bro? What you thinking? Nothing? That was my first inkling of maybe he didn't love it as much as it seemed. And granted, I always thought obviously he was going to go, to the Mets because money. But for Aaron Judge to not even try and I guess make the effort
Or
to,
even just for optics to say, "Oh, yeah, I'm wishing him well, and I'm here to be a listening ear or and let him know
yeah,
we want him here," or whatever, like anything, but for him to just straight up be like, "Nah, he's good.
yeah.
Whatever he does, we'll see."
Yeah, I was a little taken aback by that. I was like, "Oh, okay. So,
I mean,
sure. That's great."
yeah, it's pretty easy to read into that as they didn't click as much as it maybe seemed like they did.
Yeah. And now I need to know how much fun Juan Soto is going to have in Queens. I need the Mets to go ahead and re-sign Jose Iglesias. I don't even care. Just as a fucking mascot. I don't care at this point. I need Juan Soto to dance to OMG and I need to see it.
I hadn't even thought
Maybe
about that yet.
not as much as like air to breathe
Yeah.
because now Jose Siri is going to be over there as
Mm,
well and
mhm,
he
mhm.
is just a fucking lightning rod.
Yeah, big vibe.
And I just think that it's gonna be a whole other vibe over there.
Yep.
Side note, have you seen Clay Holmes with facial hair?
No. I didn't even think
I
about that yet.
shocked. Shocked. I saw pictures of Clay Holmes when he was on the Pirates with facial hair. I
Mm,
legitimately did not even recognize him.
wow.
Had no clue. And so now I'm all Clay Holmes as a starter with facial hair, he's gonna win a Cy Young. He's not gonna win a Cy Young, but
Could
how
absolutely
fucking
happen.
awesome would that be?
If he did, we're clipping the shit out of this.
Clay Holmes gets to go, gets all the Riz back, and has way more fun in Queens. I'm calling it right now. That's what I'm calling. Although,
I love
do
it.
you know what I hate though? So much,
When?
Kels? So fucking much. I have to see Juan Soto on opening day again.
Oh, that's
Second year
right.
in a row.
Wow.
Second year in a row.
Did you see I saw Yankees fans online burning their Juan Soto jerseys, which I thought was so funny because they don't even say, like, Soto on them, it's just the
Yeah.
22.
And honestly, if I hadn't already seen other people trying to be like, "Oh my god, what do we do with this Brett Beatty 22 jersey?" I would have no idea that it was Juan Soto.
Yeah.
And so now I'm all, is that another just not breaking thing, but is that just another little like thing over the Yankees that his actual name will be on a jersey, on the back
Mm.
of a jersey? I'm just spitballing here, but I congrats
Definitely a
Mets fans.
different yeah,
Congrats
there's
Mets.
definitely a different culture. At Mets and Yankees have a very different cultures, and again, I do ultimately think there's one thing and one thing alone that it came down to, and that was their willingness to pay, but there were reports that the Yankees, offered him essentially the same offer, just $5 million less, and
And
it
1
really
year more, I think.
okay, yeah, that the bidding was it was just going to go on to a point to where it got absolutely ridiculous, and Scott Boras had broken records and was like, "Okay, we can be done now, Steve, because I know whatever I do, you're gonna just go 5 over, so at some point we're gonna stop, and we're gonna stop at this absolutely outrageous numbers." Yeah, while I'm sure that is really all it came down to, I do think there's other things, other factors that it probably wasn't difficult for him to get on board with for Mets over Yankees.
Yeah.
No.
Congrats Mets fans. I'm very excited for you guys. And just for the sheer fact that not only did you guys sign Juan Soto, but you signed Juan Soto away from the Yankees, that
Yeah.
I just a little knife twist there for me personally, just chef's kiss. Now, though, everyone's saying, "Oh, now we're gonna sign Alex Bregman." And now I need everyone to know that if you guys sign Alex Bregman, I'm gonna just burn it all down. Just all of the things.
It is gonna be interesting to see what the Yankees do. I think they have to allocate every last dollar that it's now known that they were willing to offer
Mhm.
Juan Soto and make the absolute most of it. And if they can do that, they might be in a better position anyway. But it'll be interesting to see how they're able to make the most out of that.
Yeah. So build Juan Soto in the aggregate. Yankees do that because the cope that I've seen, that's what I wanna see from Yankee fans. That's what I wanna see. They're just like, "That's way too much money for a player. We could make our team so much." Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
That was the last night. It was like, how dare he and all the this is my captain Aaron Judge who took less money to stay with us, blah blah blah. Fuck you, Juan Soto. And then this morning it was like a turnaround. Oh, I'm just so glad the Yankees didn't spend that amount of money on one player anyway. Which
Yeah.
again, stages of grief. I get it. I shouldn't mock it too much because I can't imagine if I was on the other side of that. But it is pretty funny from where we're sitting.
Yeah. So it's one of those where I don't understand Yankee fans. Like, I get it. You watched him play for a whole year. You did. You watched him play for a whole year.
And you went to the World Series.
We went to the World Series. Unfortunately, that fifth inning was just very unfortunate, and it didn't help. It didn't help. I would like to see what happens now. Who they go get? Do they pivot and do they go get Anthony Santander? Do they pivot and go get Pete Alonso? Are we just trading players?
Yeah. Should we, before we go over all the other free agent signings, should we talk about the free agents that are like the biggest ones that are out there that people are most anticipating?
Yes, let's do that.
So I put these into categories because there's definitely the dominoes are going to fall in certain ways, but the elite starters that are on the market are Max Fried and Corbin Burns. The Yankees could certainly use some starting pitching, but so could everyone. Corbin Burns also a Scott Boras client, so that will be interesting. Then, as you already mentioned, they've got the star infielders. Will the Mets also re-sign? Will they re-sign Pete Alonso, Alex Bregman, Christian Walker, Gleyber Torres, who is a former Yankee, of course. And then we've got your mid-tier starters who could be some of these guys, like in the right situation, could be a one, more likely going to be like your 3-4 guys, Jack Flaherty, Sean Manaea, Nathan Eovaldi, Walker Buehler, Nick Pivetta, and Jose Quintana. Top corner outfielders, you mentioned Anthony Santander, Jerickson Profar, Jock Peterson. I guess he's more of a DH than maybe a top corner outfielder, but the bat for sure plays. And Teoscar. We've got high-end relievers, Tanner Scott, Jeff Hoffman, Kirby Yates, David Robertson, Carlos Estevez, and Kenley Jansen. And my personal favorite category are defense kings, Ha-Seong Kim, Carlos Santana, and Harrison Bader. And then, of course, we've got the veterans, Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, Clayton Kershaw, and Paul Goldschmidt looking for a soft spot to land as well. Any of these guys that just scream like Yankees, you got to go get them?
I think the Yankees have got to go get Corbin Burns or Max Fried. They've got to. Signed, what's his bucket? Marcus Stroman. You did absolutely nothing with him. You didn't let him pitch in the playoffs. What are you doing with him? Obviously, you don't think he's good enough to even be on a playoff roster. Are you willing to ride out Luis Gil? Are you willing to ride out, who was the other young one? Blonde, white guy. Why am I blanking on his name? Clark Schmidt. Thank you. Is Nestor going to be your 3, and then it's going to be, or Clark Schmidt your 3, Nestor your 5, Luis Gil? What are we doing here? You guys need to figure it out. I think they need to go get some relief pitching as well. Obviously, some corner outfields spots need to be filled, unless, because what? Doogie's gone. You cannot keep running Aaron Judge out in center field. You can't. You cannot. I know everyone says, all the Yankee fans are like, oh, he loves it out there. I understand he loves it. There's just no way that if you want him to continue to hit for you, can you keep running him out there? Sign a legitimate center fielder, move Aaron Judge to a corner, and I don't know, are you letting Jason Dominguez play Yankees? What's happening over there?
Yeah.
Don't know.
I think we got to at this point, but we'll see. I am really interested to see if the Mets re-sign Pete Alonso, because I've seen a lot of speculation that at this point, if they got Juan Soto, now if they sign Pete Alonso, it's like they are going to win the World Series if they've got both of them.
Here's a question for you. Now that they did sign Juan Soto, do you think Pete Alonso would take less money? Not a complete hometown discount,
Yeah.
but just a little bit less money to stay on the Mets because they signed Juan Soto and because he thinks that they are going to be competitive?
Potentially, I don't know that it would be less money. I think it might be like there might be room for more compromise because I do think that Scott Boras leverages his clients with each other that way. Yes. I do think there could be some sort of agreement that is a little bit easier, a little cushier to reach for the team because of that. And I also just think like Pete Alonso probably does want to stay in Queens. But like we've already hammered home, his agent is who his agent is, and he's going to go where he can get paid the most. So I certainly think that could be in Queens, though.
Yeah, lots of free agents on the market, lots of teams that need players, lots of teams with money that are willing to spend because while this first, I don't know, 25-ish minutes have been dominated by Mets and Yankees talk, Blue Jays are in it. Blue Jays offered money. The Blue Jays, what are we doing?
They like really want to spend a lot of money. They're starting to look like the Giants. Am I right?
Yeah. Why are you? I have no idea why you're trying to sign people.
They're like, if we
At this
spend this
point,
much money, we can avoid rebuilding, right? Because we'll have a superstar. I don't know if I don't know if they're taking like the Angels approach almost of like just have enough, have a couple players that people will come pay to see, and then we don't have to be competitive. I don't know.
I don't know. Now James Click is over there now, and I think he has some sort of. Maybe he's not. I want to say he's like the assistant to the general manager or special assistant to the owner. I don't know, something. So I feel like maybe James Click will hopefully speak some sort of sense into like Ross Atkins over that. I don't know. At this point in time, Vladdy Jr.'s got to be just salivating trying to get to free agency next year. Bo Bichette is still there, but your outfield is George Springer and Dalton Varsho and Joey Loperfido. God love you, but that can't be it. Blue Jays, I don't know what you're doing. If you're a Blue Jay fan, please, if you know what they're doing, drop it in the comments because I would love
Or
to.
what you would like to see them do, because
Yeah.
I'd be interested. There is no clear direction.
No. And then the surprise of all surprises, our full throttle kings, the Boston Red Sox came out and said, "Oh, we're going to throw our hat into the ring." And when they said that, I thought, "Oh, okay, they're just going to check in on Juan Soto like all of the other teams and blah blah blah." No, they legitimately went after him, made a significant offer. I think their offer was capped at 700 for 15 years. So, along with I want to say they have four young guys coming up that are supposed to be what the club is going to build around, plus Juan Soto, plus the quote unquote pitching factory. Red Sox had some irons in the fire. I had Red Sox fans hyped, thinking that they were going to get Juan Soto because Poppy and David Ortiz and just on them all. Okay. And everyone's like, the Boston Red Sox were Juan Soto's favorite team, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, I get it, but I don't think you're going to give them the most money. But like I said in our last podcast, he was going to be the prettiest girl in the room on the Boston Red Sox. So
I saw it when I heard that they were that aggressively in it. I did think that was the other most likely option than the Mets.
So the Red Sox have got money to burn and they've got some holes to fill. And if Alex Bregman ends up on the Red Sox, I won't hate my life. That's just a personal note. If Alex Bregman ends up on the New York Yankees, which I don't actually think he would go to New York, not to the Yankees. But if he ends up on the Yankees, I will hate my life. Just know. I don't know.
There's been plenty of trade rumors and there will continue to be a lot more, but the two that I've seen the most that I wanted to ask you about, because there are two players from our teams, and that is inquiries about Kyle Tucker,
Don't say it.
which seems much less
do it.
likely than the trade talk around Nolan Arenado of the Cardinals. But are you just you're just totally shutting it down?
I'm not doing it. I'm not even discussing trades for Kyle Tucker. I'm not doing it. It hurts too much. And I will cry. I can't do it. I can't do it. I will definitely talk about trading Framber Valdez, though. I don't like it, but I'll allow it. Like I have
Interesting.
any fucking say. I would much rather trade Framber Valdez than Kyle Tucker, and that will hurt me much less. So, if you'd like to talk about possible suitors for Framber Valdez, by all means, Kels, we can do that.
What is there an ideal type of return that you would see for Framber Valdez?
With the starting pitching market the way it is, because I really do believe that he is in that top tier, like, he is up
Mhm.
there with Corbin Burns and Max Fried.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
gotta be at least one MLB ready bat with
Mhm.
probably at least 2 lower prospects, not
Yeah,
fully lower, but it doesn't have to be, like, top 5 guy or whatever, but
yeah,
it's gotta be a couple of good, um, maybe double A prospects,
yeah,
but
like top 50 within the organization for sure.
mhm.
Yeah,
I think that would be honestly, I think that's much more likely than trading Kyle Tucker,
yeah,
unless you just get an absolute fucking haul for Kyle Tucker, and I'm talking 4 or 5 players. Then if you no longer see me around, then I've yeeted myself off a building because 'cause they've traded Kyle Tucker, but it would have to take something like that, and I don't think a team would be willing to do that now. But
yeah, it does seem like there are more teams or there's more interest in it than the Astros are actually really considering it, and that's why it's a story. Whereas with Arenado, it's the opposite. John Mozeliak of the Cardinals has straight up come out and said, "My intention is to trade him," but Nolan Arenado has a full no trade clause, so he will be very much in control of that situation and where he decides he wants to go, and then they'll have to decide if they can make the most of it. Unfortunately,
how
I'm
old
worried
is
that
how old is Nolan? 32?
he's
33?
32. He's
Okay.
32. Yeah, or maybe he is 33 by now. Yeah, I think he is actually 33 by now. But he is yeah, he's owed about $74 million over the next 3 seasons.
Oof.
And let me see if he is yeah, he's 33. He'll be 34 in April. So this is actually coming into his like 34 season. And while I would say at the plate the regression does seem rather apparent, I don't think it's as apparent as the statistics look at first glance. So I do think that there will be like a very fair amount of interest in him. I just fear that because the Cardinals have been so transparent in like how much they want to offload his contract that it will not be worth the return for them, and that's a bummer. I don't know, the Cardinals are just not in a place where they have any leverage really at all, it
Right.
seems. Fortunately,
Are they
it's working
trying
out
to
really well.
trade Nolan for payroll relief?
Yeah, there is no other
Okay.
reason to do it, and just I think to create opportunities for guys within the
Oh, yeah,
system
guys?
because
Okay. Because 'Cause I'm wondering if it's one of those situations like Jordan Montgomery where they're willing to pay some of his salary
I could see that,
in
especially
order to
depending
offload
on
him.
what they get in return. If they got guys in return who had multiple years of control left, then
Mhm.
sure, I could see that. But I could also see it working out where they get a guy like Alec Bohm who only has a couple years left. And it's more of at this point in time, is Nolan Arenado going to help the St. Louis Cardinals win more than a player like Alec Bohm is? And the answer is no. Not with the value of Nolan Arenado to the St. Louis Cardinals is not the same as it is to a team like the Philadelphia Phillies that's ready to go for it and could
Right.
just use him in a completely different way, just even within their own clubhouse. So that is I would almost like if they're gonna do it, that's the angle that I would rather see them go, but because he is going to have so much say over where he will play, I think that's gonna be the biggest limiting factor.
How would you feel, though, Kels, if Nolan Arenado is wearing Dodger blue come April?
Here's the thing, I think that's probably what he wants, that's probably the most ideal situation for him and his family, and so for that, I cannot be mad about it. I would
Mhm.
be happy to see him have that opportunity. I also think he absolutely deserves to play in a World Series and win a World Series ring, and he has as good a chance as any to do it with them. So I like it would suck as someone who doesn't want to see the Dodgers win all these rings, but they also locked my guy Tommy Edman up for 5 years. So I do want to see Tommy Edman win more rings. So I don't know. It would make it really difficult for me to continue to hate the Dodgers as much as I want to because I I'm not like the biggest Nolan Arenado stan of all time. There are definitely people
Mhm.
who are bigger fans of him personally than
Right.
I am, but I am a pretty big fan of him. I will watch him wherever he plays, and I would really like him to come on over to the Phillies because I don't know if you've heard, but South Jersey is a really nice place to live. Bryce Harper loves it here. Apparently, Zac Gallen loves it here. So I think Nolan Arenado should come over and be my neighbor too, is what I really think.
Okay. All right. Here's the thing, Kels. Maybe Ryan Presley will come over and be your new neighbor because the Astros are shopping America's closer extensively and would like someone to take on Ryan Presley's contract. So I don't know,
Phillies
a
could use
straight
a
up
closer.
trade. Now they did sign Jordan Romano. They did
Yes.
sign him. So maybe they could do, and Jordan Romano has been a setup guy. So maybe they push Presley
Mhm.
back into that closer role, and Jordan Romano can get that eighth inning role, and everybody can be happy because it is my personal opinion that Ryan Presley just needs that little bit of adrenaline,
Yeah,
whatever, to be the closer because it feels like that's what he needs. I don't know. Apparently, closers are
absolutely.
finicky motherfuckers and can only do the thing when they're closing.
It is absolutely true. There are those guys. So I completely believe it. And the environment that Citizens Bank Park would create for him in those high leverage situations, like it might be the perfect fit.
Yeah, Ryan Presley, go over to South Jersey. Apparently, it's great. Alec Boehm, come on over. There will be less pressure on you. No one will boo you.
Oh,
You
you
don't
want Alec
have to
Boehm.
worry.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we need a third baseman because apparently Alex Bregman is
Mhm,
going somewhere.
mhm.
I don't have a fucking clue. I would like that. I don't like that. I would actually like Alex Bregman to stay if needs be. I wouldn't hate it. I
I
would
do
hate
think
Alex
that
Bregman on the Phillies. No, no, I wouldn't
I
like it.
do think that Alec Boehm is a guy who I think he should get traded because I think he's someone who needs a change of scenery, and there's something about playing with all of the superstars and guys who are just a little bit older than him that's, like, not serving him. So, I could see him in a different environment being a very valuable piece to the right team. Again, that kind of like where Arenado different players are of different value to different teams and their
Right.
situations. I just think Alec Boehm is of better value to a team that is not the Phillies right now. So he is one that I would expect to see moved among many. But yeah, the trade rumors will be running rampant, especially because winter meetings are fully underway. I guess now that Juan Soto has signed, who are like the next ones that you expect to see, or what is the domino effect going to look like?
I think it's I think it's Bregman, Pete, and Anthony Santander. I think those three are the next dominoes to fall. I think Teo is also up there as well.
Mhm.
I want to say that I saw a report stating that the Dodgers and Teo are really far apart though on contract negotiations.
That's a bummer.
So I Teo is under not Scott Boras. I want to say Rafa something Nieves maybe. I think that will be interesting to see where or how much I guess the Dodgers are willing to extend things with Teo. They did sign Blake Snell
And they signed
to
Michael Conforto.
they signed Michael Conforto, and I just am like, it's looking a little crowded out there now. What's going on? And now that Tommy Edman is going to be center field, because that they also said Tommy Edman it will be playing center field because Mookie Betts will go back to playing shortstop. I was all, oh,
Hmm,
okay, that's what we're doing.
that's what we're doing today.
That is, I don't know, because Willie Adames said, I don't want to play for the Dodgers. I want to play for the Giants. I don't actually think he said anything to the Dodgers, but
Willie
that's
Thomas,
what
I
I'm
don't wanna be
taking.
a bride. I wanna be a
Yeah,
bridesmaid. I'm going to
yeah.
the San Francisco Giants. That you do bring up a good point. The San Francisco Giants, they got a guy. They got a big deal. Is Willie Adames the guy they're gonna build around? He signs for 7 years, $182 million with the Giants. That's just a little bit bigger than the Dansby Swanson deal from last season with the Cubs. Were
It's
you
a
at all
bigger deal
surprised by this?
than Buster Posey, right? What Buster Posey got?
I do believe it is, yes. So I think it is, it sends some Giants history as well.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that Willie Adames signed with the Giants. Not
I'm
gonna
surprised,
lie.
like, and when anyone signs with the Giants, I think, so, yeah.
I always
Very
forget about
nice.
the Giants.
Yeah, like, nothing yeah, it's nothing personal, I just that's
It
their
it's
lot
just
in life.
yeah. I don't know why. Because I had 2 of their players on my freaking fantasy team and love them, but I always forget about the Giants. Always. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe with a healthy outfield again. Who is their center fielder that they signed last year? Korean
Oh,
guy.
John Lee.
Jung Hoo Lee, thank you.
Yeah.
And now that Willie Adames can play shortstop, they can move Tyler Wade to, like, second base. They got Matt Chapman over there at third, so that left side of the infield's gonna be good. Elliot Ramos, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna be DH? Are you gonna be first? What are you doing?
I do think having this is what I hope for the Giants is I hope that having this kind of franchise piece where and other there are many teams where Willie Adames would not be that, but he is for the
Right.
Giants, right? With their current roster makeup. I I could see that creating some more consistency for the Giants across the board, which I think is as a baseball fan, I desperately want to see from them. Like I want them to have more of an everyday lineup, more of a semi-regular rotation, like just play a little bit more conventional baseball, Giants, because whatever you've been trying to do, and I really think it comes from a place of waiting it out from them not being able to sign the players that they want to and make the moves that they
Yeah.
want to. So I get it. You got to work with what you got. But yeah, I hope this allows them it is like a big piece that can allow them to start building around and creating some more consistency because I do think that's a big piece of what they've been missing.
Do you think now that Buster Posey is at the helm and calling the shots and is the general manager, do you think being more player led like that is going to translate is the best word I can come up with?
That's a really good point. I guess I hadn't even considered of how that could actually make the Giants a more attractive option for players. I do think that is a factor for sure. I don't know. I was definitely one of those people that was like, "Yeah, Buster Posey, bring him on in, like, as an executive, sure, because that makes sense." And I, absolutely love Buster Posey as a player. No shade, just in terms of we saw how well that worked when they put Derek Jeter in charge of the Marlins. It
Yeah.
does not always translate, but depending on the relationships that he has built and the vision that he's able to sell, along with the money that the Giants are willing to offer, clearly, it could be a change of direction and just a change of the narrative for the Giants. Who knows?
Another question for you then. Do you think the Giants are done? Or do you think Willie Adames signed and said, "Okay, I'm here. I'm here now because I know you're gonna go and bring in some other players,"
Yeah.
and that's why he signed? Do you think Buster Posey was like, "Look, bro, we're
Yeah.
talking to such and such and so and so. You're not
Yeah,
gonna be the only one."
for sure. Yeah, I could see them I think they definitely need to acquire another big bat in the outfield, and I could see them signing one of those mid-tier starters for sure. So, yeah, I don't think by any means that they are done. It'll just be
Okay.
interesting to see, yeah, how well they can entice players since that is seemingly been the issue before in the last few seasons for them.
They
They
can't sign
can't get
anybody.
the guys they want.
With respect, they did sign Carlos Correa, and Carlos Correa did agree
Oh,
to go
yeah.
there,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
they said, "JK, Carlos, we
Yeah.
can't have you. Sorry, bro." Carlos
Did you
Correa was
I
going to go.
totally because that was such a massive story, I actually was having, like PTSD is not the right word, but I was, like, having that kind of feeling with this Juan Soto signing. No, especially because it happened at 10 PM or something. So I was like, "We're
Right.
gonna wake up tomorrow morning and something is gonna go completely haywire with this, and it's gonna be like, just kidding. Juan Soto is
Yeah.
actually signing with the
Yeah,
Angels."
the physical's gonna come back, and the Mets are gonna be like, "Fuck, we don't approve the physical, y'all."
Yeah.
I that would wow. Yeah. The Mets haven't said anything officially then.
Yeah, no, I do not believe it has been officially announced by the Mets. I'm sure
Who
that
knows?
there's obviously gonna be a big presser and everything, but that'll be after the meetings for sure. But speaking of pending physicals, there's a lot of pending physicals out there these days, and I am interested to see how Tyler O'Neill's pans out because he has signed a 3-year deal with the Baltimore Orioles. Very excited for him. Glad to see that he got a solid amount of money. In a few years, he does have an opt out after the first year. And yeah, I hope he can stay healthy. And I'm glad that he's playing not too far away from me. And I'm looking forward to going back to Camden Yards. And I want to catch a bro bomb in the bird bath. That's my goal for 2025.
I can't wait for that to happen for you as well, and I need to know how many more home runs will be hit in Camden now that they've decided, "JK, we moved that wall far way far back, like, way too far back. We gotta bring that shit in just a little bit." So I need to know how many more home runs will be hit this season.
Any other big signings that you are excited about or you think are like really difference makers? We talked about Blake Snell, got a 5-year deal with the Dodgers, which that was a That's a big deal for Blake Snell. And remember last year, he couldn't even get 2 years or 2 years with nearly the AAV that we thought he would have. So, yeah, Yusei Kikuchi, 3 years with the Angels. That one's a little interesting. Kyle Hendricks has also signed a year deal with the Angels. So the Angels are pasting together a little starting rotation here.
Yeah,
We have to talk about Luis Severino,
ugh,
who has signed the largest free agent deal in Aths. Is that what we're calling them now? The Aths. And in A's history, 2 years. This was shocking, honestly.
congrats, Luis Severino. What? Why? Why? W That was literally my reaction when I saw the tweet. I
Yeah.
legitimately gasped and said, "Did I read that right?" Because my eyes are old now, and I have to hold my phone, like, out here in order to see things, and I was like, "That surely that can't say the Athletics signed a free agent?" No. They did. They
Yeah.
did. But now, what else are you doing, Athletics? And why the fuck couldn't you do this when you were in Oakland? There
That
is
is the real
actually reasons,
question.
though. There is actual reasons, though. Did you see this?
No, tell me.
Apparently, he's gotta spend at least 25 million more dollars, or
Oh.
the MLPA is going to file a grievance.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently, there was some sort of thing stating that he was gonna spend
Cool.
$100 million on the payroll once he got out of Oakland,
Okay.
and that was the stipulation. "Okay, we'll let you out of Oakland, but now you have to actually spend money on your fucking team, John Fisher."
Oh, man, so he just decided to spend it all in one place. Alright.
Yeah,
Cool.
okay, Luis Severino, and let's just be really honest, like, he had to overpay just a little bit anyways to get an actual guy that has some sort of chance to play with any like, that had chances to play with any
Yeah,
other team,
yeah, that's
to
true.
to go play in a bandbox in Sacramento. And I guess there's an opt-out after 2 years? 'Cause I wanna say it's a 3-year contract, isn't it?
It is yeah, it's a 2-year deal with a player option for the 3rd year, so it could
Okay.
total $67 million. He has a $10 million signing bonus, and yeah, the last deal that they had that was anywhere close to that was a 6-year, $66 million contract extension for Eric Chavez in 2004. So,
Yeah,
there
and
we
apparently
go.
they tried to extend Marcus Semien, 21, I wanna say,
I think so, yeah.
and Marcus Semien said, "No, thank you. No, thank you." And they also asked Walker Buehler to go play, and Walker said, "Nope. We will just not be entertaining any offers from the Aths."
Yeah. Yeah, the catching market is everybody's picking up a lot of backup catchers pretty quickly here. Kyle Higashioka has signed a 2-year deal with the Texas Rangers. Gary
Okay.
Sanchez is going to be an Oriole as well. Gary
Yep.
Sanchez is one of those guys, I always think he's older than he is, but yeah, he'll be on a
Same.
1-year deal there. And, we gotta call out Brandon Crawford, San Francisco Giants legend, just go back to the Giants real quick, who has officially announced his retirement, so big congratulations to Brandon Crawford. It was a treat for the Cardinals fans to have you on board for your last season in St. Louis, and yeah, it'll be cool to see what he does in retirement because 'cause I'm sure he'll find a way to stay involved in the game one way or another.
For sure. Oh, another big congrats, Blake Treinen going back to the Dodgers, and that signing literally happened moments after the Juan Soto
Yeah.
signing.
Yeah, so if you
So,
missed it, you might have missed it.
yeah, so no one knew that Blake Treinen signed a 2-year, what, $22 million
Yep.
contract with
2
the
years.
Dodgers. So Blake's going back to the Dodgers. Tyler Glasnow and Blake Snell are back together.
Oh,
Who was the
yeah.
number 1 in that Dodgers rotation?
I think it's still Glass now as long as he's healthy.
Okay.
I'm not a Blake
Who's the
Snell
number
gal.
2?
I'm not it can be Yamamoto if he can I do think that Yamamoto will have a much better 2025 than he did 24. I just think he's gonna settle in a little bit more. The lights won't seem as bright.
Growing
Yeah,
pains. Getting used
yeah.
to the travel, getting used to new balls. The NPB balls, literally, guys, are a little bit smaller. All I need you to know how much I'm holding in. The NPB balls are smaller and a little bit tackier. So coming over to MLB and getting to play with bigger balls. I can't. Getting
Graduating to the bigger balls of Major League Baseball.
I
Yes.
and smoother and literally smoother. I can't. I'm really trying here, guys. I'm really, really trying. But it's a whole new world. I'm also trying not to sing that. And with the travel, literally, because in NPB, it's like the minor league system where you're home for a week and you play 6 days straight, and then, like, you travel on a Monday or whatever, or on a Sunday, and then you go. This whole new schedule with the traveling every other, it's all new. It's all new. So I think you're right. Unfortunately, Kels, I think he's gonna be so much better next season. Ew, I don't like saying that.
Yeah, and I'm not a Blake Snell gal. I don't think he is, like, guaranteed to be super solid enough, which is why I think that deal is gonna be I think it will play out to be one of the biggest overpays just because I don't see him having 5. I don't even see him having 3 more seasons of
Okay.
being like, having over 4 wins above replacement. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I could be completely wrong, but there's something about him that just for my team, for me, makes me way too uneasy. I should have told Zac Gallen this, but it was like the biggest reason why I thought Zac Gallen should have won the Cy Young over him in 2023 is I think just from like conventional stuff,
Mhm.
I am going with a guy like Zac Gallen every time over a Blake Snell. And I would consider like Tyler Glasnow to be more in the same camp of a Zac Gallen type of starter.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. That pitching rotation could be super scary though. So good call
Yeah.
out.
So, where does Shohei fall into the rotation? Is he a 3? Is he a 4?
Does he start? I don't
Who's
know.
do you not think he's gonna pitch next season, Kels?
I never thought he would pitch again, to be perfectly honest, and if he does, it'll be in relief. I just don't think and I don't want that, like, yeah, I don't know. We don't wanna sacrifice Shohei Ohtani at the plate and what he can do offensively, like, he's, clearly more than shown his value there, and I just I don't know, I haven't read up a lot recently about how his rehab is progressing other than I did see Dave Roberts, I think, spoke today at the winter meetings and said that they're not anticipating that he will be pitching at the beginning of the season anyway, which is to be expected. I think that would be very early. But they were talking about there was a talk about him potentially pitching in the World Series. I was
Right,
like,
right.
come on. I don't know. I don't know. It certainly depends on what they get out of these other guys. And the Dodgers do this every year, right? This is their new thing is that they have 3 or 4 like top tier starting pitchers and then they have an entire injured list of guys who could randomly come out of nowhere and also be their 1, 2, 3 in their
Right.
rotation.
Yeah,
So,
that is true.
I think it's great that they have options of how they can utilize him and let it work itself out.
So do you think he will ultimately just be a DH, or do you think that he'll go to the outfield?
I do think if he ultimately they're not gonna use him as a pitcher at all, I do think they will try to put him in the outfield, and I think he would want that too.
Interesting. All right.
Who knows? I also
So
said Shohei Ohtani was gonna stay with the Angels, so maybe don't listen to me.
this is also true. We'll stay on the vein of Japanese ball players because Roki Sasaki, phenom from Japan, has been officially posted. And if you guys haven't heard about Roki Sasaki, he cannot sign a massive free agent contract. Just know that. He has to go because he's not done the whole however many years that he's supposed to in Japan. His Japanese team, the Marines, lose out on a bunch of money and they just essentially post him. And now he goes into the free agent international pool and has to be signed with the international free agent pool money.
Mhm.
Which apparently, because the last episode of Astros Edition that Tom and I did, Tom apparently was looking it up and said that the Dodgers have the smallest pool of money
Mm.
for international free agent signings when it resets in January, which surprised the actual fuck out of me because I thought that's what everybody was waiting for, was so that the Dodgers could be like, here's $10 million, Roki, come
Oh,
on
yeah,
over.
they do. The Dodgers and the Giants have the least. Yep, along with the next least very close is the Astros and the Cardinals.
Yeah.
We won't hold our
So,
breath.
no, we will not. But that really surprised me. I was like, "Oh, alright." Now everyone is saying that the Dodgers are the front runner favorites to sign because of the ties to Shohei and the ties to Yamamoto, but apparently the Padres are also up there
I think the
in the
Cubs
running.
could be too. They've got Suzuki and Imanaga, and Yu Darvish loved being I think he has good things to say about the Cubs as well. I don't know, I could see that.
Who knows? Does he wanna go play with Mike? I don't know.
I would.
I would. I love Shota, and I love the fact that he's my name's Mike.
Yeah, I would wanna go play with Shota Imanaga, and I am very anti-Chicago Cubs, so that's saying a lot.
I don't know why you're anti-Chicago Cubs. They just signed Matthew Boyd.
They're building a rotation, I'm telling you. Are they gonna add Roki Sasaki? Maybe. But yeah, he does
Let's hope.
have his 45 days to sign from, I believe, today, so
Yes.
let's
We shall
go.
see. Apparently, Cody Bellinger is also on the trading block from the Cubs.
Yeah, I saw that, that was interesting.
And everyone's, "Oh, Cody Bellinger, we could get Cody Bellinger." Strictly from an Astros fan perspective, absolutely the fuck not. Stop it.
Yeah, I do firmly believe Cody Bellinger's best days are behind him, and if I'm wrong, I have said it, but yeah, no. Don't put your sights higher, Astros fans. There's something better for you out there.
Yeah, absolutely. There's I don't know what though, because apparently our farm system is in the dungeon.
Where do you think do you have any I think we know Clayton Kershaw, they'll work something out with the Dodgers for sure, but in terms of Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, any thoughts on I feel like we won't see that happen until later on, but I don't know, any thoughts on landing spots for them?
I don't know. I feel like JV could possibly come back on a 1-year deal, like a 1+1 maybe, but it would have to be cheap. And I don't know if JV can be cheap. I think
Someone
he
will
can.
pay him. Yeah, I think so
Someone
too.
will. And I honestly, I could see him going back to Detroit.
Mhm.
However, I don't think they're gonna pay him either. So, I don't know. I think maybe, like, a young fledgling pitching rotation could possibly sign him. I don't know. Does he sign with the Pittsburgh Pirates
Mm,
and tutor all of those young guys?
I
And
would take that.
that would be awesome. And Strami is over there now. Brent Strom, pitching
Mhm.
extraordinaire. Pitching coach whisperer is over there, and who knows? Max Scherzer, though, I don't know about Max.
Yeah.
He can't stay healthy. And I say this as I just get done talking about Justin Verlander, but really and truly, I don't know if it's in the cards for Max.
Yeah, no, if I had to pick one or the other in terms of, like, health and productivity for 2025, I think anyone would say the JV is the clear choice there. So even
Yeah.
though he's older, yeah, I don't think you're wrong at all there. I don't know. Have you heard about another veteran we haven't mentioned yet? Lance Lynn has dropped 20 pounds and is ready to make a comeback. He is going to be in his age 37. I believe he'll be 38 in May. But Lance Lynn is his the regression is there for sure, but there's something about him. He's still got a good amount of fight in him and he's still got the swing and miss. I don't
Needs
know.
pitchers. The Rockies.
Yeah. Nah, I do think Lance Lynn will find a home. Honestly, I could see him with the Cincinnati Reds. I think he's gonna stay in the Midwest. I know he really wants to be near his family. I could even potentially see I don't think the Cardinals will offer him anything because they did not he had a team option. They did not pick up the team option, but I could see them offering him like half as much or something potentially that he would take because he wants to live at home. But yeah, and then we've got Paul Goldschmidt, who is another veteran free agent. We could see a little reunion with the Arizona Diamondbacks there. That idea for Paul Goldschmidt.
There's been rumors about Paul Goldschmidt to the Astros as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I feel about that because aging first baseman has
Yeah.
scarred me,
It's kinda left
like
a bad taste in your
mentally,
mouth recently. Mhm.
emotionally. I don't think I can do another aging first baseman. I really don't. So I don't know. Not Cardinals fans. Diamondbacks fans are clamoring for a reunion, and they are basically saying, "Okay, fine. If you're not going to sign us, Christian Walker, then bring Goldie home.
Yeah, yeah. I'd
Do
love
it."
that for the Diamondbacks fans. Okay, who on I guess it doesn't even have to be on this list that we have. It could be any of the free agents, even ones that we've not talked about. But is there anybody who obviously Alex Bregman, but outside of him, is there anyone who's maybe not as like hot on the radar that you're like, I really can't wait to see where this guy signs?
No, I think obviously I was wondering about the whole Juan Soto sweepstakes, but besides that, I think I'm good. I would love to know where Santander ends up because who doesn't need a 40 home run hitting outfielder? Everyone's but his defense. I'm sorry. Juan Soto was in the running for a Gold Glove. You guys cannot tell me in the same breath that you care about defense
Yeah.
and then throw Juan Soto's name in the mix. You can't do it. So there's a couple of ones that I'm wondering where they're going to end up, but just as a sheer, how much are you going to make? And
Yeah.
could my club have done that as well? So like Jock Peterson, where are you going to go, Jock Peterson?
Mhm. What about Ha-Seong Kim? He's the one I really can't wait to see. I can't wait to see what type of deal he's gonna be on, and I do think that he is someone who could be a difference maker for a team.
Okay, so I don't understand because his shoulder surgery was successful and whatnot, but apparently he's not going to be ready until September.
Oh, I missed that.
And so that's why when everyone's, oh, Ha-Seong Kim, I'm all, I think it's a lost season for him, unfortunately, which kind of sucks because, free agency and all that shit.
That absolutely sucks. I'm seeing the latest is that the Tigers are showing interest in him, but he underwent shoulder surgery in September. He will miss some time at the start of the 2025 season. The exact timeline is up in the air. His agent is Scott Boras, and Scott Boras said a late April return is possible, which means he probably won't play until September. But Suzy, Scott Boras is going to get him paid starting in late April. So we'll see.
Yeah.
The latest is the
Yeah.
Tigers and Blue Jays potentially looking at Ha-Seong Kim.
Yeah, so there's Ha Sung Kim and then there's Hai Sung Kim. Have you seen the Hai Sung Kim being posted as
No.
well? No relation. No
Wow.
relation. Yeah, another Korean KBO player that got posted. I want to say he plays second base and shortstop. Young kid as well. I think he profiles a little bit more as like a Luis Arise type
Okay.
than a big bomber.
I'm into that.
So I'm interested to see where he goes, and
Mhm.
that will be, but again, that's that international free agent pool. So he can't get a ridiculous free agent contract either, which I don't think he would get anyways. But he's on the younger side, so who knows? I would love Astros. You hear me? An Asian guy to come over. That would be great. We can build that up, please and thank you. I think Hai Sung Kim is probably the one that I'm most interested to see where he goes.
Okay.
But Padres, what are you doing? I want to know what the Padres are doing.
They are
Out of all
gonna
the teams
be
besides the Astros, I need to know what the Padres are doing.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see because obviously their owner, Peter Seidler, no longer with us, so they're really gonna be transitioning, I think, from his him being the ultimate control person and his vision for the team. So yeah, that will be and that might take the next few years to really iron out, but they've got a lot of money on the books, a lot of money that they're committed to, and definitely still some holes, some reworking. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any other teams that I'm, like, super curious to see how they're gonna restructure. The Angels, I'm always just,
I don't know what the
what
Angels
are
are doing.
doing? So I'm always
Here,
always a hint of curiosity there.
here's a question for you, Kels. Who do you think ends up with a better record next season? The Angels or the A's?
Ooh, I feel like I have to say the Angels,
Do you
but
though? Because honestly, looking at the lineup, like the bats, I think
that's
I
true.
have to give the edge to the A's.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't know why I said it like that with such incredulous in my voice. I'm sorry, A's fans.
This will be a really fun episode. We'll have to do this episode, maybe, like, during spring training or, like, right before
Mhm.
spring training where we do yeah, we should put teams head to head like that and be like, "Okay, who's gonna have the better record and why?" And, yeah, that'll be a fun little preseason game to play.
That will be. I have another query for you, Kels. I was listening to another podcast called Schmocking Spaceballs, and one of the hosts was saying that maybe his fandom would be up for sale, and he would change fandoms for X amount of dollars, which got me thinking, would there be any amount of money that could get you to change your fandom, Kelsey? So, two-part question. A, is there any amount of money that would make you change your fandom? And B, if, say, your number is $1 million, and I told you, Kelsey, you have to be a Cubs fan, and I will give you $1 million. Could you do it?
No, but almost any other team, I probably could. Not the Cubs.
Not the Cubs.
Because when you first started that question, I was like, "Yes, my fandom can be bought," especially because obviously, I'm very dedicated, I have strong family ties, but I have never lived in St. Louis, and I don't feel any, like, emotional tie to the city of St. Louis.
Mhm.
I do specifically to the Cardinals and, like, especially because there were players like Adam Wainwright and Yadier Molina who have been in that organization since I was a child. That is my biggest tie, and they are gone now, and I'm just such a player first fan that I think is the biggest reason that my
Okay.
fandom could be bought, because it's really easy for me to root for other teams because I get invested in the players and the culture more than, like, any specific city or anything like that. I do think that we've talked about this a lot. I do think there are a lot of fans that are team first fans, and they're only interested in their team. They're not super invested in even the game as a whole. Their perspective on their team and the game is totally different because of that. So that is not me. But no, I don't think there's anything you could do that would get me to root for the Chicago Cubs.
So, okay, hold on. How much money would it take then? What is your number besides the Cubs? If I were to tell you, Kelsey, blank check, I want you to be a fan of 28 other teams. You could pick any of the 28 other teams. What would be your number?
765 million, if I get to pick a number.
That's fair. That's fair. For 765 million, I do think that you could buy my fandom. I think you could.
No, I think I would figure what I would need to live in my dream house and just
Mhm.
outright own it and then own 2 cars, and I'm not a very, like, money motivated person, but I know what I want, and I know what I want to be able to
Right.
afford, so I would figure out all of that, and I could present you with a very logical fact-based number.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I have children. If you guys don't know, I have twins. I have 9-year-old twin girls. And you could buy my fandom, I think, because I'm putting my children first, because college is expensive as shit, guys. I don't know if you
Yeah.
know this or not. College is expensive as fuck. So you probably could buy my fandom for 24 teams.
Yeah, see, that's it. It depends on the teams. Would it be more expensive to buy your fandom for the Rangers or for the Yankees?
No,
No, neither. Okay.
just
Those
I
2
could
are off the table.
ugh, I could maybe fathom the Rangers. Ah, maybe. But the Yankees are a hard pass. I don't think I could do it. I honestly don't think I could do it.
Okay, so that would be your equivalent to the Cubs for me.
Yeah,
I
or the
could see
Dodgers. Fuck! I don't think I could do the Dodgers either. But I think Yankees are probably my number 1. I think
that. Yeah.
I don't think I could do it. The Rangers I could possibly swallow. That's what she said. I don't but yeah, no. That would no.
The price has gotta be right, that's for sure.
Yeah. It's gotta be a very high number. It's gotta be a very high number for me to do that.
That's a really fun question, though, and I'm less interested actually in what team you would pick. I like the way that you phrase it as if it which teams could we not buy your fandom for? Yeah, listeners, what team could we just there is no amount big enough that we could pay you to root for? I would love to know.
That would be delightful. That would be delightful. We are going to wrap this episode up. I know you guys have been missing us. We're going to try and get back on a semi schedule of sorts.
Hopefully the stove will warm up because it's just been ice cold. We just
Yes.
didn't have anything to talk about, and then, I don't know, I guess we came on here, we talked about the Juan Soto thing like anyone cares, but yeah, we'll keep
Yeah.
up with it.
We will. We will. And we will start our off-season 40-man finds here.
Yeah.
And if you guys don't know, it was a great segment last off-season. It essentially is one player from every team that you guys should know about. And it's typically not the stars, typically not. We like to give some shine to the role players, right? The role players. And we've been shouting them out all season long.
Yes.
Hashtag 40-man find.
It
Go
makes the
back.
whole season more fun if you get on board with us on the 40-man find because you
Mhm.
will have a reason to watch every single game and every single team.
Definitely. And if you were on our 40-man finds last season, then you will have recognized the greatest center fielder of 2024, possibly, Brenton Doyle. And I
And
know some of
you
you
and
are like,
only
"Yeah, who in the fuck is Brenton Doyle? And what team does he play for?" The Colorado Rockies, guys. And you would know that. You would know that if you were on the 40-man find with us last
and you
season.
will have
You would
2
know.
more Rockies that you can root for if you tune in this year.
Exactly. Exactly. So we will start that up again because I don't know about you. I had a lot of fun with that segment.
Yeah, no,
So
I loved it. It was awesome.
So we will start that up again. We will continue to talk about all of the hot stove options. And Kels, we got to talk about John Heyman's meltdown, though.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you see that? We got
I
to.
caught wind of it just a little bit, yeah.
I guys, if you hadn't heard, if you don't know, it's been joked about that John Heyman is basically Scott Boris's puppet,
Mhm.
mouthpiece. Anything that Scott Boris wants leaked out there to the press, to the public, John Heyman is on it. And it's just been a running joke in the baseball world, in baseball, in the Twitter sphere. And apparently, what's his name? Keith. Why am I blanking on his last name? Keith from
Oh,
WFAN.
Silverman?
No,
No, it's not him.
McPherson maybe. I think it's
Not sure.
yeah. Although Keith Olbermann and Keith McPherson are two totally complete different entities, and it is cracking me up that the image has conjured in my mind because one is like a old white guy and one is a young black guy. So it's one has like literally white hair, I think, and
Yeah,
Keith McPherson does not.
not
But
him. Okay.
Keith has a New York, obviously a New York Yankee fan, and has a radio show that people call into
Oh,
late
yes, that
nights.
is Keith McPherson. Yes.
Keith
Okay, I know who you're
McPherson
talking about.
and had John Heyman on, and this clip is hysterical, and I died laughing. You don't remember the Arson Judge tweet? John Heyman was the author of that. And again, it was 2 years ago, and it's just funny. And Keith McPherson was joking around with John Heyman about it. But before this, apparently, he had joked around about him getting a cut of Juan Soto's contract, aka because he's on Scott Boris's payroll.
Mhm.
And John Heyman did not take that kindly, and literally was like, "I'm not coming on here again," and then essentially proceeded to yell at him some more, and then "I can't believe it! I can't believe it!" and then hung up on him. And I was like, "Oh, yeah." And so now I need our friends over at Foul Territory to get John Heyman back on the show and ask him about
Yeah.
it and be like, "So John, what's the deal here, sir? Why so angry?" Keith basically has said, "It's late. It's past his bedtime," which I laughed at. I was like, "That's awesome."
Nice cover, yeah.
I have my notifications on, and so I thought this notification was like a Jeff Passan tweet. It is not. Something happened in the Cowboys game. Cowboys, I don't care about you.
Yeah, no, sorry, the Cowboys are not anything you need to be paying attention to this time of year, even I know that.
Not so much. Not so much.
I did see
So,
that the, White Sox have signed Mike Tauchman.
oh, did they?
Yes.
Oh,
So
Mike
that's
Tauchman, who did get DFA'd from the Cubs.
he's heading across
Yes.
town. Yes, indeed.
The Yankees wouldn't budge on including a suite at Yankee Stadium in Juan Soto's contract, especially because Aaron Judge and Derek Jeter pay for theirs. Steve
Mm,
Cohen included one at Citi Field in his Mets contract.
well,
Wow.
I'm sure we're gonna hear all kinds of things about what made the difference, but again,
Yeah,
same
yeah.
surprise at the end of the day. Steve Cohen was going to outbid anyone and everyone, no matter how long it took, and I'm glad it didn't draw out any longer, honestly.
All right. Kels, tell the peoples where they can come find you on the interwebs to talk to you about all the free agents.
They can find me on the Twitter or on the Blue Sky, both at KBirdTweets. That is where all of my baseball-related content can be found.
And if you guys haven't liked or subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do that now. Please like this episode. Please subscribe to the channel. Please tell all of your friends, hey, you guys like baseball content? I have something for you. Here you go. And send them this because it's a lot of fun. And I would love you dearly. I probably won't know unless you tell me, but just know that I'm sending all the love to you guys. If you listen to this podcast via podcast, just with your ears and not on YouTube, please give us a 5-star rating and all of the nice words on whatever podcast thing you use, Apple, Spotify, any of those things. Did you do the Spotify Wrapped thing, Kels?
I did. You sent me ours, but I couldn't see it, so you'll have
Oh,
to fill me in.
that's fun. The funniest thing about our Spotify Wrapped this year, Kelsey, was the episode that got watched/listened to the most, and it was streamed 563% more than your average episode. Do you want to know what episode it was?
Yeah.
The one where we interview Jay.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
If you are
Know
on
what
YouTube
to
right
watch.
now, I am showing you our Spotify Wrapped. The one where we interview Jay. I'm just saying, Jay, Justin Havens, you can come on back. Maybe we can include our favorite Dallas Braden, because Dallas Braden is also, he's
Do a
not
little bourbon and
contractually,
baseball is dead
yeah,
crossover. I like it.
yeah, he's not contractually obligated to come back on the show, but he has told me that he will come back on the show. So we could just do a Dallas Braden, Justin Havens crossover, and that episode will be like 4 hours long, because Dallas Braden, that man can talk. And really, I just want to talk about his adorable puppy.
Oh my
Anyway,
gosh, yeah, he did just get a new puppy.
so cute. With that said, we're gonna wrap and we're gonna say, yay, baseball, and recording. Goodbye.